Hey everyone, I need a haircut, but that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're going to be talking about Vince Staples' new song and its accompanying music video, Blackberry Marmalade. So I imagine most people watching this know who Vince Staples is, but if you don't, he's a rapper from Long Beach, California. He released his first project called Hell Can Wait back in 2014, and he's remained consistent while continuing to evolve his sound throughout the years. And we're talking about him today because he has released on April 25th a new song and a music video to go along with it. And this is actually his first track he's released as an independent artist. He is no longer with Def Jam anymore. So getting into the track itself, it's called, of course, Blackberry Marmalade, and it's just under 4 minutes long. It has a post-punk, sort of grunge-inspired, maybe even a noise rock-inspired sound to it that's very reminiscent of his early work like Hell Can Wait and Summertime '06. And this track kicks off with 2 drumsticks clacking together, followed by a fuzzy, distorted guitar, and it has a pretty groovy bass line. Once Vince Staples starts rapping, the guitar stops and these wavy synths kick in that really complement the bass line. This is a high-energy track, and it's pretty catchy, which is a very stark contrast from the actual music video, which we'll be getting to in just a moment. The lyrics are politically charged with lines like, "Empires built on bloodstained grounds," Kanye West, "I pray they all fall down," and "Cracker Jack, the sound of soul, you'll box me in and sell my shit," which I really like that line because it's like, you know, Cracker Jacks are sold in a box. And then also the recent Jack Harlow album, that was a soul album that just came out that was a complete disaster. As good as the track is, most people are actually talking about the music video, and for good reason, because it's pretty wild. So it's shot in this like point of view of the mass shooter who shoots up a diner, and it's styled in the way of like a video game, like a first-person shooter game. The video begins with the gunman holding Vince Staples at gunpoint. He keeps switching hands and changing how he's holding the gun, almost like he's trying to figure out the coolest way to hold the gun when he shoots him. There's even this pretty cool moment where Vince Staples, who understandably has a horrified look on his face, subtly changes to like this, like, "Oh, he's not going to do it" face, because he's noticing how shaky the gunman's hand is when he's pointing the gun at him. So he grabs the gun, they wrestle for a little bit, but then the gunman's able to regain control and shoot Vince Staples. He then goes inside and proceeds to shoot every single person in the diner except for only 2 people. One is this guy who's on his phone, just completely oblivious to the situation, and the other is this woman who hid under the table. And you may have recognized this. I did want to point out that the diner that this takes place at is actually the same diner used for Childish Gambino's song Sweatpants in that music video. But after the gunman has shot everyone except those 2 people, he then goes back outside and sits in front of the car where Vince Staples is trying to crawl back into it, but then you see him like limp over as he dies. And then the gunman turns it on himself and shoots himself. And the video ends with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. "So the question is not whether we will be extremists, but what kind of extremists we will be." The more I think about this quote, the more I agree. I mean, anyone with even a little bit of integrity will have values and principles that they will die for. And I don't mean that in the sense of holding extremist beliefs, because that's not necessarily healthy, but more in the sense that we all have things that we will go to the extreme for, whether that's our family, our faith, or really any idea or value that is worth fighting for and preserving. But that is Vince Staples' new track, Blackberry Marmalade. I think it's a pretty great song, an amazing music video, even if it's a pretty hard watch. But I definitely think you should go check it out. Well, that's all I have to say about this. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.